Holy shit. I fucking tell on them. Yeah, that's not a problem. I give them the opportunity to come forward on their own. I get that some of these people, they're pressured by society into doing certain things. Most of them are just assholes. Natalie Bollinger didn't have to do any of the evil shit herself. All she had to do was tell a lie because she didn't want to get in trouble. Like, why should I give a shit if she lies to her mom? I don't fucking care. Her safety, on the other hand, that I care about. If you lie to your mom about where you're going, your best friend best know where the fuck you go, though. And I'm not talking about me in that situation. I wasn't Natalie's best friend. No, her twin sister Alicia was her best friend. The thing that creeps me out about the entire goddamn Bollinger family is that, well, Bollinger and Kelly family, for an entire year after I left Virginia, through everything that I was going through, over people's opinions, what did I actually do? What did I actually do in Virginia? I'm still waiting. Let's see, I went where Alicia asked me to. I went where Natalie asked me to. I did what they wanted. When they wanted to hang out, we hung out. The rest of the time, I found things to do. I've always been good at that. People have been abusing me for several years over things that, you know what, if I could have gotten Alicia Bollinger into fucking court, been allowed to go to my fucking court dates against that fucking cunt, I could have shown what the fucking hell is actually going on. What her and her fucking friends had been doing for over a year by the time Natalie was fucking killed. Natalie's friends too. You think any of these people even once thought about me as a human being? No. In order to stop this, these people would have had to stop and think to themselves, yeah, Sean is a human being. He has rights as a human being. But no, that fucking went completely over all your fucking heads. I'm jumping through the hoops. I am wasting fucking every goddamn penny that I have. And you guys say, oh, well, you can do this and you can do that. And you tell me things I'm not allowed to fucking do. Things I have been cut off from doing. You say, they can't do that. They sure the fuck can. And when they can call you mentally ill, it's their word versus yours. Even if there is body cam evidence, they're not going to let you touch it. That they were assaulting me over things that Maddie Boa said. And Maddie Boa was claiming I was doing to little girls in Virginia. Really? Are you sure? Are you for certain about that? I mean, not sure if you all knew this, but Maddie Boa and Alicia Bollinger, who are both still alive, helped me to plan the trip. Sage Wayward Rages, who is also friends with Christopher Weaver. Sage was one of the people that I was going to see. He's still alive. Ed Simmons, another one of the people I was going to see, still alive. Amanda DeMent, another one of the people I was going to see, still alive. So why is it? Of course, there's also Mahalia Jean-Pierre. I've been able to prove that all these people fucking exist, but it doesn't make a goddamn bit of difference. As long as I got the goddamn mentally ill tag hanging over my head. Meanwhile, there's a lot of predators that I tried to turn in specifically by name who have fucking body notches on their fucking post now. You don't get this. The officers do everything that they can when you try to turn them in when they abuse the fuck out of inmates. It's assumed that you must be guilty. When you go to prison, it's assumed that you must have been convicted. Shit, I was in prison for trying to turn in fucking predators. Some of them in law enforcement. And some of them who got their fucking nose so far up their goddamn boss's ass that they committed fucking crimes from the start. It wasn't Leslie Snell's place to try to threaten, harass, or intimidate me in those very first phone calls. When I had to talk to her and explain to her, hey, the people that you guys were telling me I got to turn this into are telling me I got to turn it into you. And, you know, with her, at the very beginning, like, that was the first she'd heard of it. My God, I was fucking pissed, too, you know. I'm still pissed off. That denies people their rights. The term mentally ill over and fucking over again. Doesn't matter sources that you need. There's always some other fucking piece of shit problem that's going to happen, and they're going to say it's not their fault. But if they have problems, oh yeah, they'll fucking postpone for 3 goddamn months on court just because an officer has family stuff to go to. Oh, he scheduled a wedding on the same day he had court, so we got to hold off. He's going on vacation, so we got to hold off. I mean, that vacation thing was like a permanent hold. That's where they'd pretend that they were going to help and send me to somebody who's on fucking vacation. Oh, they're on vacation. Excuse me, this is a fucking emergency. These people are still out here, and you need to fucking come collect the goddamn evidence and take it seriously. They didn't, though. Imagine this. I didn't even know she was one of the officers that was there during the situation with Longmont I was trying to turn in. She told me after she pulled all the bullshit that she did. As far as my paperwork goes, I could fucking show these people if I was there with them. If I had a place to sit down and fucking do it. But Jesus fucking Christ, I don't have the goddamn resources to feed myself. All these folks telling me I got to go here and I got to go there and I got to get this and I got to get that, and I'm running around doing all of this shit. It's all fucking time consuming and it's expensive. And then people want to talk about how free it is. Oh, well, it's a free service. Really? How free is it? How much gas did you spend getting there? How much time did you have to wait in fucking line? Did you get what you showed up for? How many weeks did they let that shit go on with you signing your name every fucking week on the goddamn list? How many weeks did they let that go on? Collecting government money, collecting taxes. How many weeks did that go on before they let you know they actually don't do what it is that you were sent there for? And then you want that in writing, but they won't write it down. So what do you got to do? You got to fucking record it. You got to record every goddamn thing. Rule number 1, never, ever trust an adult who asks you to keep a secret. Anyway, looking like they're going to call me anytime soon. See, this is how it usually is. And of course, the more this happens, the more frustrated that I get. And I try explaining, hey, it's not just you. Everyone does this to me. This is why I need civilian oversight. Call after call after call, not taken seriously. Meanwhile, I'm screaming your name out here on the fucking internet. Shouldn't have to. How do I retaliate? I fucking speak up. I tell the fucking truth, and I show the truth. Somebody has to. Just because nobody listens doesn't mean you're wrong. Sorry, what you're telling the person who's coming to you for help. Why did you lead them on? Because I have to be afraid to do it the right way, because the right way does not work. You're told that you have to go to try to get help, and you have to call them alone, and you have to rely on a fucking druggie to go in with you. It's very rare that those druggies actually keep their word to go in with you, and, well, like the case with Andrew, he was tripping balls. I can only imagine how fucking freaky that was for him, going into a courthouse and going to try to get this paperwork with me while he's fucking tripping balls on mushrooms. A lot of people get angry with me and say, man, you're ungrateful for everything I did. I am definitely not ungrateful at all for what Andrew tried to do. That's Drew in Hood River. I'm not ungrateful for what he tried to do. It's the fact that he was fucking tripping balls that made it hindrance instead of help. So with all of this, I gotta hurry up and wait. It's gonna be, couldn't happen on Friday. Couldn't call me at all about the situation there, over and over and over again about the situation there. What I spoke to him about initially was the situation where I was literally trying to get help because I was drugged in Hood River. You think we could put some focus on that? Of course, I'm not there. The two situations which I've gone to him for, that would be that place being run like a prison yard, including the situation with Jamie and myself, as well as the situation with the misconduct at the hospital, which is recorded. I could probably go to the library. I couldn't make my phone calls from there. Luckily, my back is fucked, so nearly all of the evidence here, with the exception of 1 or 2 days where I've been lucky enough to be able to set up my desktop, it's pretty much all on my laptop, my YouTube, my Facebook, and of course, the audio recordings are the bulk of it. Daniel Apathy is the one who bought this. This is my clandestine audio recording device. Cheap foreign crap, but it works. I've recorded sheriffs deputies, police officers, EMTs. Recorded the fact that I told the truth every step of the way. Some of it I wasn't able to produce at the beginning because I didn't know how to take fucking screenshots. I tried to get help. I retaliate by speaking up. Yes, I could start fires instead, but speaking up, getting my voice heard and the voices of the other victims heard, instead of them having to be afraid for their lives if they speak up. Yeah, I'm not going to say I'm sorry that there is so much corrupt law enforcement. I'm not going to say that I'm sorry because people who turn in bad cops are so horribly treated. I'm not going to say I'm sorry for the fact that men are so horribly treated. I'm not going to say I'm sorry for the fact that homeless people are so horribly treated. I'm not going to say I'm sorry for how you treat people who have Tourette syndrome. I'm not going to say that I am sorry for a bunch of other people who are on fucking drugs who did evil shit to me. I'm not going to say I'm sorry for speaking up. You don't deserve it. If you had any balls, you would have spoken up. You don't like the reference? Well, it seems to me there's a different set of rules for men than there is for women. We've even created Facebook algorithms so that sexist posts from women are okay. Sexist posts against men are okay. If you change one word, then magically it's a hate crime. Magically it's against Facebook rules and regulations. A lot of the evidence that I had to show was on Facebook, and people went out of their way to try to destroy it. Much of my evidence is on YouTube, and people have gone out of their way to try to destroy it. But every step of the way, I have done my goddamnedest to show the truth to the best of my abilities. And it is unfortunate that I've had to do this on the internet. It is unfortunate that rather than cops doing their jobs once it became a severe safety issue, it is unfortunate that I had to bring things to the internet. It is unfortunate that after I left Virginia in 2016, after doing everything that Natalie and Alicia had asked me to do, what they asked me to do, folks. You look at Natalie Bollinger's last public post, what you'll notice is that she makes a bunch of accusations on there that paint me out as a horrible person. She doesn't mention that every single thing on there that actually fucking happened, that happened in Virginia. After Virginia, I left. I didn't ask where she was. I didn't care where she was. I was trying to get the fuck. I had no fucking clue. That's right, that's where she was shot, 5 blocks from Miss Peaches. Miss Peaches lived on 120th and Melody at the time. How did I speak up? How did I retaliate? How many people did I assault? None. How many people did I kill? None. It ain't complicated math here, folks. Here's the thing, if these people who are involved in this would take the time to actually look at the shit that I'm being abused over, they'd realize how much of it they knew was bullshit if they'd have fucking listened and spoke up. Hell, Alicia Bollinger just admitting to the stuff that she asked me to do wipes out just about half of that list that Natalie made. Natalie claiming that I slept behind her work for weeks. See, here's the thing. I'm expected to know the names of every one of these fucking predators who have taken part. I'm supposed to remember the exact date and time, and of course, the stuff that I looked at, there's no dates, there's no times. These people get to leave all sorts of information out and just pretend. Who's your friend in North Platte, Leslie Snell? Who? Who are your friends and what credibility do they have, Rabbit? You're going to take their word over evidence. You won't even listen to your own fucking brother. On the bright side, I'm more man than you'll ever be. Because I stood up for you, you still won't even listen to me. When Sherman Watson and Amy wanted to try to pretend like you're a child molester, I fucking spoke up. And I got a hold of Morgan Burns too, by the way, motherfuckers. And I spoke up. I actually spoke up. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. How about stop saying you don't know what to do? That's a good fucking start. How about shut up? How is someone supposed to tell you what help they need when you're busy saying you don't know what to do? I'm aware that you don't know what to do. I heard you the first fucking time. How about make the call with me? With me. And if you're too stupid to know what speaking up is everyone that goddamn retarded? You don't like that I say retarded? That's fine. You have no idea how many times I have been called retarded in my lifetime. That's everybody's fucking excuse, isn't it? I'm smarter than you, but obviously I must be retarded because I'm different. So I speak up. Look at how Zayd Atkinson, Samuel Leon Lawrence IV, Michelle Rodriguez. Look how much differently they were treated when they were assaulted by Waylon Lolatai. Look how easy it was to get that body camera evidence. Look how easy it was for them. While I'm jumping through hoops, having to spend money I don't have. I'm being victimized by multiple people. As a group, they are doing these things. And I'm told that I have to turn them in individually, just one at a time. No, these people are doing it as a fucking group. If the fucking cops had been willing to pay any goddamn attention, if my friends bothered to pay any goddamn attention, but no, they didn't fucking care. Not a single goddamn one of them cared to look. Not a single goddamn one. We got some people who pretended, but after 6 goddamn years of them pretending, no, fuck all of you. I knew you were fucking selfish pricks, but I was good to you because you're people. Obviously, I'm not a person to you because I don't have the drugs, I don't have the vagina, and I don't give up the D. I speak up and you hate it. You have to lie about me and slander my name, or of course, pretend on things that you weren't there for. God damn, must be nice. How do I retaliate? I fucking speak up. It's not that I don't go for help. It's that I go for help and I go for help and I go for help and it does no good. But I'm told if I go on to the next guy and the next guy and the next guy. So I record all of this shit. I am making the fucking efforts, ain't I? I'm supposed to understand when they don't show up and don't show up and don't call back and don't call back and don't call back. Jesus fuck. I'm still taking abuse over Natalie Bollinger and her fucking stupidity in Virginia in 2016. Her stupidity. She told a little white lie because she was fucking embarrassed. And I'm sure with the pressure that her fucking family gave her after all the shit that they had actually done to her, wanted to pressure her and pretend like I might do something bad. Maybe she should have told them that she fucking pressured me there with fucking threats of suicide. When y'all try to pretend I fucking stalked her, no. First of all, that shit started in Virginia. That stalking accusation shit. Why was I in Virginia? How did that shit come about? Do you insist on going out with somebody on their birthday if they're stalking you? Do you change a phone and a phone number for a friend and give that to him as a birthday present if he's fucking stalking you? Well, it was a pretty busted up fucking phone. If Alicia had known how fucked up that phone is and she still gave it to me, she could see it was fucked up. But apparently her dumbass thought it still worked. There's a reason that Natalie Bollinger was using a broken phone. There's a reason that she was using a different phone than that one. Natalie Bollinger was using a broken phone instead of that one that I was given for my birthday, because the one that she was using that was broken was less broken than the HTC I was given. Because Natalie Bollinger already knew that that HTC was busted. It didn't fucking work. Now, all these people that were involved in the situation, like Jerry Sparks, yeah, when they realized they were a part of the situation, they want to fucking backtrack and head for the hills. Well, good fucking luck, dummy. Good fucking luck. You should have done that before I took the screenshots. Anyway, we're 28 minutes into this. It's already out. I've been... Fuck, when's this gonna happen? I'm waiting. Hurry up and wait, hurry up and wait. There are other things that I could be doing with my time right now. I'm hoping that he's gonna keep his word, but here's the problem. People are fucking dead, dudes. How am I gonna fucking retaliate? I'm gonna keep speaking out. I'm gonna keep trying to get my evidence fucking seen. I'm going to keep trying to find a fucking place where I can just stop running around like a chicken with my head cut off for fucking resources that don't goddamn exist and cost every fucking penny I've got, plus my goddamn sanity. All the services for homeless are overrun by tweakers. All of the services for battered women overrun by fucking tweakers or shut down by the cops. Oh yeah, and the services set up for the homeless also all shut down by the fucking cops. Boulder, Colorado, we handed all of our fucking services over to the sheriff's department because that's who fucking wanted it and said they were going to make sure that it was run properly. What'd they do? They shut it fucking down. 122 beds in Boulder, Colorado. Over 4,000 homeless people. Why don't you go to the homeless shelter? And you know, there's a lot of fucking reasons. But when you interview people, you try to go find the dummy. The one who's going to give you a simple answer, because you know what? When you tell them how fucking complex it is to try to get fucking just a goddamn night's rest. That's all you're trying to get. A night's rest, not getting fucked with by the cops. Why do you go to the shelter? So you can get a night's rest without getting fucked with by the cops. Who's most likely to victimize you at a homeless shelter? Is it the other homeless? Or is it the staff members? Well, it's actually equal quantities of both. My first violin got stolen by the staff at the Boulder shelter. That was my very first violin. Staff members stole it. How did I retaliate? I spoke out. When I was being accused of making posts about Natalie disappearing before she even disappeared, I did make posts about people disappearing. I absolutely did. That would be Mandy Singer's son, and she finally spoke up when? 6 years later. 6 years after it would have made a fucking difference. 6 years after saying that to Candace would have made all the difference in the world. Instead, there's all this fucking crazy shit that they're getting bombarded with. They're not looking at the evidence. They're not listening to me. They're busy with their fucking paranoia. Meanwhile, their paranoia was wrong. It was based on slander. If they'd have looked at the evidence, instead of being fucking assholes, they'd have realized how badly they were fucking up. It is not my fault that you fucked up. It is not okay that when you fuck up, you take it out on disabled people. All of my friends who made bad assumptions because rather than looking at evidence, they just believe whatever the fuck they're told. Do you think my fucking predator is going to be honest with you about what the fuck they did? Even with it blatantly on the internet. When I was put in prison on misdemeanors that didn't even happen. That's right. The things that they put me in jail for didn't even happen. Now, don't get me wrong, they did type and talk about things that did absolutely happen, but those things are not against the law. The things that they accused me of that are against the law, they have no proof of because those things did not happen, and therefore they had to drop the charges. Meanwhile, it was illegal for them to proceed through any of it because of the rampant quantity of situations where people had a conflict of interest. You don't think Paulie Olson being friends with my goddamn predators is a conflict of interest? You don't? You don't think that me being forced to go to a sheriff's department that has literally gone out of their way to hide their own crimes and to help deputies that committed crimes against me to flee justice? Helped Joel J., all right? He was in the Omaha World Herald. Omaha, Nebraska, that's the capital of the fucking state. Right on the front goddamn page. Chapel KKK. CHAPPELLNEBRASKA. Chapel, Nebraska. KKK. Nebraska's largest collection of KKK memorabilia was found in the attic of Joel J's office. What did he do? Well, he fled state. He's a judge in Kansas now. He had to flee the entire state. That's how bad he fucked. And Scott Costa was going to go down right along with him if he didn't let him go. Over 20 deputies had to let go. James Hammond committed crimes against me because he's smart, because he's got lots of experience against gang members. You fucking punk-ass little cunt rag. You fucking Nazi bitch. James Hammond, you're a traitor to your own people. You should be hanging from the gallows, and so should Scott DaCosta. That's what should happen to traitors like you guys. Oh, I get lots of people telling me what should happen to traitors, what should happen to traitors, and what constitutes, well, somebody being a traitor. And yeah, well, according to the UCMJ as well. Luckily, you're civilians. Also, lucky for you, I'm against killing people. I'm against hanging you from a tree on the courthouse lawn in Chapel, Nebraska. I think it's wrong to do so. I think it would far better serve justice If you are forced to live out the rest of your days in an alpha unit in prison, how do I retaliate? I speak out. I do everything that I can to try to get my voice heard by someone who will actually help. The courts and the cops are not going to listen to me. They're going to pretend that everything is a figment of my imagination. Do everything that they can to tell me it's not pertinent, it's not got nothing to do with it. No, it absolutely has everything to do with it. If you force me to break the law because you're doing nothing about people who are literally not only threatening to kill my friends and family and myself, but there's already bodies fucking stacking up. What a bunch of Nazi goddamn bastards. You say we can't compare this to the Nazis. Who did the Nazis go after first? The homeless and the disabled? What happens to us when we die? Do we get a lovely prepared state funeral? 21 gun salute? What do we get for our service to this nation? What do we get for giving up our lives for the rights that we still don't have, but you do? Meanwhile, you only have those rights as long as someone cares and you have a roof over your head. Michelle Clark? Well, I certainly hope that she gets help. She did. But because she was able to get into housing, they got to play on not only the fact that she's a woman, but also the fact that she's a minority, and the fact that she was in a house. Does anybody stop to consider that in all of these situations with Waylon Lolatai and the fact that people want to push these as race crimes committed by the Boulder PD, have any of you noticed that Waylon Lolatai is literally darker than all of us? He's darker than Michelle Rodriguez. He's darker than Michelle Clark. He's darker than Zayd Atkinson. He's darker than Sammy Leon Lawrence IV. And he is for certainly darker than I. He also played ball. Yes, this man has roids on the brain. And just like Cody Selhorst, who broke the law, well, as we know, these tactics are nationwide. When people complain that cops nationwide are allowed to do this, and people especially bitched about Waylon Lolatai being allowed to do this, and Scott DaCosta has done this with over 20 deputies in a 6-year period? And then they get to say, oh, well, he's not here anymore, so I don't have to give you that. We'll just pretend that didn't happen and it's not got nothing to do with any of this. See, that's what happens when you don't come forward, when you don't speak up, when you say you're fucking sorry. Look at how fucking opinionated you were, how heated you were over Will Smith and Chris Rock, and you don't know either one of those motherfuckers. But look, the rest of America cared. Well, if the rest of America cares about Chris Rock and Jada Pinkett Smith and Will Smith, and that's what you care about, you don't get to pretend that you actually care about me. You care about people you don't fucking know. You care about rich people. Every American thinks he's a millionaire whose ship just hasn't come in. And every European seems to think that every American has $1 million and 2 cars in their fucking garage and unlimited gas. We've got so much gas in the United States We must bathe in it. We must bathe our abundant elephants in it, because everybody knows every American is rich. We can afford elephants. Why are elephants almost extinct in Africa? Well, it must be because all of these rich Americans are buying all the elephants to bathe in their expensive ass gasoline. Yes, I got a way of making it sound completely fucking absurd, don't I? Well, that's because it is absurd. Third world Americans don't even have the rights they have in third world countries. Just because you have third world wages and live in third world conditions, that doesn't detract from the fact that there is no third world property in America. Zero. You should look at the dynamics in third world countries. You should look at the dynamics of villages. You should look at the dynamics of their houses. What are they made from? There are certain areas where, yeah, it's not exactly safe, especially if it's earthquake ridden. For you to build a mud hut, you got to structurally fortify it somehow. But you notice even our homes crumble under that. But you want us to spend 35 years just to pay off the property, making a fucking shit ton of money. After 35 years, you got enough property to, well, not actually to do much compared to a third world country. A lot of third world countries, there's encroachment of desert land. There's also famines caused by rivers drying up or being dammed up. There have been several wars fought in Africa over whether or not a dam should be allowed to be built. So how do I retaliate? How did I retaliate against Natalie Bollinger? I spoke up and kept speaking up. If it had been just Natalie, I wouldn't have had to speak up. If getting away from Natalie fixed this, it would have already been fixed. I never would have needed to speak up. People kept on telling me, hey, if you got a problem, you need to speak up. And then when I speak up, they want to argue instead of understand. So we've got police verifying the dynamics that I explained to you. I explain them, you call me crazy, but it comes out of an officer's mouth. Well, then it makes sense, thank goodness, the things that I've been explaining on here about law enforcement. There are individual officers throughout all of it that explain each and every little piece in detail. We also got the medical professionals that are on my channel, recorded. We've also got the tactics of cowards. People that know that you're telling the truth, but they don't have the balls to stand up to anybody. Everybody out on the streets, they want to give you empty promises and give you all their stories, tell you all about their own bullshit that they're not willing to do anything about. They want to call that help. And when you're frustrated at that kind of help, you're the bad guy. Then when shit happens and it hits the fan and they got to go through the same shit as you, well, they're on their own. You've already been run off. You can't go back home because they never spoke up. And then they want you to come back and speak up. Dude, I can't. I won't be allowed to speak up. I will be locked up. That's it. Them some bitches in Colorado will look for and manufacture any excuse at this point, and you already know it. My best chance is to keep speaking out and hope the rest of the world stops listening to the United States. Stop listening to the United States. Stop listening to the United States government. Stop playing into their humanitarian aid bullshit. They don't even take care of their own. You get $800 in disability, but they're charging you $1,600 in shit over false accusations and spending $100,000 or more to fuck you over those false accusations. Someone calling themselves Cincy Chris Hammer typed, yo. Well, that's great. The thing is, Jesus fuck, it's 12:30. It's an hour and a half past when they were gonna message me. I can't just sit here and use up battery. Cincy Chris Hammer typed it's 3:30 here. In the afternoon or in the morning? We'll take a screenshot of this so that we got evidence. That way, of course, when people pretend that I was just talking to myself, I probably won't be allowed. That's one of the things about cops when you're trying to turn them in. They tend to take away your evidence and you're not allowed to show it. And your public pretender is not going to try to get it. And they have a limited amount of time to try to get it. And if they don't do their jobs and don't even try to do their jobs, well, then the evidence is lost and you can't show it anyway. Public pretenders don't fucking listen. They refuse to do their jobs in every single one of my cases. And in every single one of my cases, I was trying to turn in predators. Some in law enforcement, and some of them the actual parents of children who were being abused. And some of them the alcoholics that these goddamn meth head parents wanted to drop their kids off on. Rihanna was not fucking fit to take those kids. By Joshua Rayborn's own admission. They knew that Rihanna was not a safe place to drop off them kids. They knew that she was that heavy a fucking alcoholic. Thank goodness I was there to at least try to keep them safe. But then again, we've got Amy Spencer, the only person that she's actually in contact with there until she got in contact with me to pretend like I'm a bad person. No. Rihanna fucked up. And you fucked up by putting those girls in that fucking situation, which is the reason when they were taken out of Rihanna's custody and put into an actual decent foster home, and yes, they do exist. Those girls wrote a letter to the judge saying they didn't want to go back to live with their mom. And rightly so, thank goodness. And I support those girls' decision. Absolutely. I'm willing to bet they're a lot better behaved at that foster home. Because they're glad to be there. You gotta imagine how it is with those girls that they're fucking drug addicted, going through an entire 175 of hard alcohol every fucking day or more. Yeah, those girls were well within their boundaries, in my opinion, to be naughty. Why did they spend so much time at the bathroom? Because Rihanna's fucking scary when she's drunk, and she's always drunk. She watches fucking shows about killing that they definitely freaked me out. And those girls and myself were already aware that once Rihanna started booing and hooing about missing her boys, one of them was going to get fucking smacked. Those girls did not fucking deserve that. Sorry. Amy Spencer, a.k.a. Kalina Kingery, was a victim of rape and incest by her own father. with their drug use and their alcoholism was more important to them than their own families. Of course, if their drugs and alcoholism are more important than their own families, I'm not going to be any higher on the list. I did try to help Rihanna with possibly trying to cut back on the drinking. She did talk a little bit about rehab, but she wasn't willing to go to rehab until Amy came back and got her kids. Anyway, if I get a phone call, it'll end the video. So that's a good thing. Or it'll pause the recording, I guess. Where the fuck did I put my tobacco? Fucking A. But I want you to look at all of the situations. How did I retaliate against abuse? I spoke up. Now, there are crimes that I committed. Speaking up wasn't one of them. The crimes that I committed were to try to get my voice heard and to try to show the actual abuse, the actual evidence, instead of just making it somebody else's word versus mine, instead of making it a popularity contest and a witch hunt. Of course, that would have required somebody actually giving a shit and not wasting my time. Oh, we gotta get this person, we gotta get that person. Well, hey, we can get as many people involved as you want, but you're the witness, you're the one who has to speak up. If you're gonna tell me something that's gonna affect my decisions, and I'm being victimized as if I made it up, you are the problem, not me. Shannon Alvarado should have come forward about Kara Johnson Miles months before she was allowed to slander me in court and prevent me from showing evidence, or even pretend it's not victimization because I spoke up. It makes it okay to abuse me. No, that fucking doesn't. Me telling on you, on the fact that you should come forward. And you make me show the evidence to the whole world because you can't come forward when it makes a difference and say, yeah, Sean's telling the truth. You haven't done anything useful. What you've done is put a shame, a great shame, upon you. And of course, with small town mentality, if you live in a small town, you're casting that on your family as well. I know very well my family name. I also know very well that if Grandpa is a sick fucking pervert who is fucking my mom, that my grandpa's a sick fucking pervert who is fucking my mom. Now here's the thing, did my mom say that just for sympathy? Did she say that just to manipulate? It was she and my Uncle Greg who extorted over $200,000 from my grandpa over the course of many years. Of course, my mom's always broke. Why? Because she puts it up her nose, up her nose, up her nose. And when it's up her nose, any money she's got left over is going to be spent on stupid shit. Let me show you the really stupid shit that I spent money on. There's my kite. Oh, wait, I didn't buy that. That was free. How about the bamboo? Wait, nope, that was free. How about the sticks? Nope, those was free. Everything else I had, and your expectations are getting people killed. Amy Kingery's bullshit and drug use didn't just destroy a small portion of my life. but it has damaged her daughters irreparably. Rihanna's dead now. Imagine what that's like for her two boys. Right now, I got to make sure that I stay recording. When I'm having to stop in a parking lot and do this stuff, recording of the part where it is said their word versus mine, because my stuff isn't allowed in court. I get called mentally ill, and of course, everything that is recorded must be a figment of my fucking imagination. I must have recorded the recordings with, must have hallucinated the recordings with Scott DaCosta, huh? I must have hallucinated the recordings with Jared Hahn, huh? I must have hallucinated those things because the guys I'm trying to turn in say so. That's the problem with the mentally ill tag. Your predators already know they can just try to play it off like you're delusional. They already know that they can play on public opinion. I believe in doing the right thing because it is the right thing to do, and that means telling the truth. As we've seen, and of course, not just in my situation, but worldwide, we've got priests who are helping to cover up crimes of child molesters. We've got preachers helping to cover up the crimes of child molesters. That's just gross. So it's not just people like Rod Wright who are helping these people get away with it. Rod Wright isn't even an ordained minister. He might be by now because Zach Richmond spoke up about that, and so did I. And I will keep speaking up until the day that I die. How do I retaliate? By telling the truth. By telling the truth. Am I frustrated right now about having to wait on Marcus? Yes, but according to Marcus, he's waiting on Courtney. Well, that's just an excuse. We don't need Courtney for Marcus to answer my questions. Also, I'm wasting time where I could be otherwise gathering tools and resources required for my survival. That includes gas. Every day that I am fucking wasting waiting on somebody like this to fucking actually do something, it is costing me. It is costing me the ability to take care of myself in the only way that I am capable, given my circumstances and disabilities. Do you guys consider that? Do you stop to consider that? That all of you who do this over and over and over again, that you're allowed to, but I don't have the luxury. When people threatened Candace and her kids, I spoke out. When the cops did wrong shit, I spoke out. Many of these situations, the way they were presented was intended to send me into a fucking panic attack. And they use these tactics repeatedly. Context is important, but it's not important to the buddy of the judge who's getting paid to not do shit. And yes, that is literally how it is. We're talking about Western Nebraska here, folks. Western Nebraska. These guys go out pheasant shooting together. They go to clan meetings together. And just like the stuff that I got from here in Tillamook, yeah, there's evidence. What Marcus Ibarra is not understanding is that every day that he sets up to do something and doesn't follow through, every day that he procrastinates other than that, is a day where my resources are rapidly dwindling and I cannot replace them. This is the reason that predators get away with taking advantage of homeless, disabled males. You have to drag somebody's stupidity through the mud in public to get them to do a goddamn thing. I would say drag their name through the mud in public, but that's not what you're doing. You're not dragging their name through. You're letting them know that this person has a name in specific. And you're letting them know exactly what this person has done wrong. What I'm showing is that this is dirty. Whether you intend for it to be dirty or not, this exact situation is the reason that mandated reporting laws, well, there's a specific amount of time that you actually have to do something about it. When none of these places bother to collect evidence, or they do this twisted, manipulative bullshit. Like Jen Beebe. Man, that's fucked up. Penny Cooper did the same thing. You know, the first time they dropped me from that program, it's because, well, 5 different meetings apparently I didn't show up to. No, there was one meeting I didn't show up to. And I let them know. I called them ahead of time to let them know. 4 different times, there were situations where my caseworker didn't show up or Nicole Peralta didn't show up, and they used that against me. That's not fucking okay. It is not okay to use the fact that Nicole Peralta and Tamara did not show up. It's not okay to use that against me. They told me I needed to go to the Front Range of Colorado to get help. I went to the Front Range of Colorado to get help. But then again, you guys just want to pretend that everything in my life revolves around Natalie. No, it revolves around stopping the fucking abuse. About getting help stopping the fucking abuse. While you pretend everything is about Natalie Bollinger's fucking vagina. Holy shit. All my predators gotta do is say mentally ill Natalie's vagina. And it's magically all fucking okay. You're all pieces of shit, and you're lazy pieces of shit at that. You're getting to see right here with Marcus Ibarra where no matter how good his fucking intentions, yeah, sure, his heart is in his chest, it's in the right place. But what fucking good is he doing me? None. He didn't do me any fucking good while I was there, and he's not doing me any fucking good now. He's going out of his way to only communicate in a way that is not effective, and he fucking knows it. All of you fucking know it. It's horrible. Like, I gotta sit here and just wait. Hurry up and wait. Although we got other people here who are resting in the area, I'll show you. We got a police officer there, and we got a person in a PT Cruiser, and then whatever that thing is. So we got people here. Lots of people resting up and doing their thing and all that. You know how much that sucks? Yeah, when I bring up what I should do or what should happen to certain people, I am absolutely 100% of the time voicing public opinion and not mine. Because I'm not going to retaliate by lighting Hood River on fire. I'm not going to retaliate by lighting Tillamook on fire. I'm not going to retaliate by lighting the Dalles on fire. Of course, you notice when I was explaining that situation, there had already been people who were trying to start fires here in Oregon who were busted. And I go out of my way to explain, hey, I could do these horrible things like you guys want to pretend like I would. But the fact is, I'm not. And you using I could as an excuse to harm me, anyone could. If we're going to lock up everybody who could hurt somebody, and we're going to start off with those who are most likely to do so, we wouldn't start with the homeless. We'd start with all of your daddies. Every one of your daddies. Fathers are at the highest risk for molesting children, just so you know. Second to them is stepfathers, and third is mothers. Imagine that. Of course, we've also been finding out recently there's more than one person, more than one male on my YouTube channel talking about how, well, the sex within their household, their sexual abuser as a male was their mother. Why is it the victims like Brittany are cast out from the family, but predators like Mark are still allowed to be a part of it? Make no mistake about this, Mark Richmond is the one. He was the grown-ass goddamn adult who decided that doing that to an underage girl was acceptable. Not only that, it's an underage girl with his very same last name. Fucking Christ. Yeah, I could light fires like that guy who got busted here in Oregon, lighting fires. I could, but I choose not to. I choose to speak out. Do I retaliate against these officers who killed my friends by putting a bullet through their heads? No. Do I retaliate against these officers who didn't do their jobs, resulting in death, by putting bullets through their heads? No. Do I retaliate against these officers who assaulted me by going and beating them piss fucking limber? No. Do I retaliate against these people who stalked me as a fucking group by getting a whole group of people to stalk them back? No. How do I retaliate, people? I speak up and I show evidence. But there is such a massive quantity of it now. What am I supposed to do? Having to live in all of this. Having the evidence buried under that mountain of crap. I'm physically disabled. I've taken a lot of blows to the head. And I'm glad for the help that I've gotten. Absolutely. There's also the fact that there's a lot of people who want to give me help I don't need. Like, bless their hearts and all that. All the people trying to give me pot. Like, no. No. I already know well enough not to smoke any of your pot, especially not out of your pipes. There's too many people out here who smoke other things out of their pipe than just weed. There's too many people who will give you nuggets of marijuana that have something already in them. You ain't going to get that at the dispensary. You don't have to worry about fentanyl in your dispensary weed. You don't have to worry about meth in your dispensary weed. If somebody gives me weed that's got meth crystals in it, well, I can't identify those crystals specifically as meth crystals. I don't know what it is. But I sure as shit ain't going to smoke it, and I'm sure as shit going to make a mention. Now, as soon as this cop is done here, because I don't want to be a nuisance or make his job difficult, and I definitely don't want to draw a bunch of attention because this thing is loud and stupid. As soon as he's gone, I'm going to relocate up there to over by the Seventh-day Adventist Church and the skate park, because that's where actual services are that actually help us. Hopefully there's supposed to be food there today. It's almost 1 o'clock, of course, and I was supposed to have a conversation with this guy and so 2 hours. I've got a lot of anxiety. Like a lot of anxiety. I got 1 month, less than a month. I mean, my birthday is on the 18th of this month. As we know, I don't have good birthdays. Matter of fact, if I make it to this birthday, it'd be another damn miracle. The thing is, the blue line of bullshit. That's police officers. They crossed the line. Nationwide, they have crossed the line into criminalhood. Not Robin Hood. These guys have become our predators, preying specifically on the poor, using the excuse that it's their job. They're just doing their job. No, you're picking and choosing whether or not you're in a domestic dispute is usually based on gender. If a woman does not have evidence to support her allegations, well, shit, they'll just arrest a man and prevent him from going to court. Claim that he had every opportunity and it's his fault. Meanwhile, you're getting abused in there over allegations. You're not allowed to defend yourself against them. How's that supposed to work? Now, with that officer there, am I angry at him for wasting our public tax dollars to just sit there in a parking lot and not do jack shit? No, I'm not. He's allowed a lunch break, isn't he? And he should be allowed a lunch break. Also, as far as the parking here goes, it is decently long-term parking. You're just not allowed to sleep overnight. Although I've got enough charge on this, we can probably get out and actually see what the sign says. And that way, of course, we know the rules and regulations. I've done this at many of the places I've been. We go up and we read the sign. Some of them say 2-hour parking. And of course, I'm usually in and out of those areas in about 30 to 45 minutes. And then we got the ones that say no overnight parking, so I make sure that I move steadily throughout the night. Oh my god. Oh, that. Holy shit. Oh god. Alright. Now the one over there at, what's it called? The sporting goods place. Tillamook Sporting Goods, I think. It says customer parking only, no loitering. So it's a good thing I'm a customer, right? I suppose I should probably show you the sign so that I can prove it. Customer parking only, no loitering. I'm not sure what the laws are here about loitering, but I do make sure that I purchase things. Sometimes that requires taking half the crap out of my car so that I can see how much change I got. By the way, I almost got $1. It's just mostly in pennies. And although that would get me another coffee, I'm not done with the one I got yet. And of course, my back hurts pretty friggin' bad right now. That's a lot of people's solution for my back issues is, hey, Sean, why don't you just smoke some pot? Well, maybe at the end of the night, maybe when I go to bed. But the problem is, you got to have a place to do it, and there's laws and rules and regulations. Oh, very cool. I heard a cart coming. I wasn't sure what kind it was. It's one of the two-wheeled ones it's basically a wheelbarrow, but it's real deep. They're useful, and I think this is the model that the storage capacity area doesn't start until the middle, which for somebody like me with a fucked up back, that makes it a lot easier to pick stuff up. Now with me just sitting here, and I'm of course trying to follow the no loitering rules and all this, that, and the other. The thing is that the longer that I wait here, the more likely it is that I get in trouble for loitering. But I got to be somewhere. I got to be somewhere and parked so that I can actually sit and make the phone call instead of, me having to focus on driving while trying to answer questions and try not to get frustrated. Meanwhile, the person that I'm talking to might get frustrated. And then, of course, if there's multiple people talking at once, then that makes it extremely complicated for me because I can only hear one of them at a time, and only if they speak one at a time. Otherwise, if they're both talking at once, I catch bits and pieces of some of the words out of each of them if I really try to focus. But other than that, it's just a garbled mess. Meanwhile, I got to try to enunciate properly. I have 0 teeth. And a lot of y'all don't understand how that makes it complicated to speak as well. So if I say things and people don't quite understand it, then I have to try to enunciate it and say it slower. So then people think I am talking to them like they are idiots. And I try not to do that either. I always figure that there ought to be like a flow to your speech. If you're going to say it, just say it. When you're spending all of your time trying to stop and make sure that every word is properly enunciated, well, you only get halfway through a sentence before you've already complicated it to the point where you're spending so much focus and emphasis on saying what it is you're trying to say properly that you don't get to finish what it is you're trying to say to begin with. My dad, growing up, he's a dick. I mean, he really is. It's going to be his way or the highway. You're going to do it as he wants it done. He already knows everything, so there's no sense telling him, teaching him, or showing him. I tried to explain to my dad, hey, Dad, it's not easy for me to do what it is that you want me to do right when you want me to do it. I have to control my Tourette syndrome 24 hours a day. My dad doesn't get that or understand it. For him, he doesn't understand what it's like having to control your Tourette syndrome, trying to make sure you don't do this and make sure you don't do this with your wrists, which hurts, by the way. I still do it because it's an involuntary muscle spasm. I have Tourette's. But that's something that is always overlooked. Like when people want me to carry stuff all over the place, thinking that I can carry my computer in and out of the library like I got 50 hands and a good back. No, I can't go in and do that every single day. When you got a place of your own, you can receive your own mail there. You can set up your computer and leave it in place where you need it. If you got something that you thought of at 2 o'clock in the morning that you really need to work on, well, you don't get to work on it if you're not in the house. You have to wait until somebody else has an opening, like Starbucks. You have to wait until it's not going to interfere with the things that you have planned for the day. A lot of people tell me to do things that if I had a house, I could. I absolutely could if I had a house to do it in. If there was a room that I could utilize, a meeting room or something of that nature, where I could sit down for a few hours and just hash out what I need and focus specifically on what I need. Not have to worry about basic fucking survival. Not have to look over my shoulder for the next asshole trying to find an easy mark. When I told on people, they retaliated against me for telling on them. Natalie retaliated against me for telling on her. Tim Beeston retaliated against me for telling on him. That's human nature, isn't it? Us autistic folks don't work right for you, do we? A lot of folks pretend like we don't know how to read a room. No, we absolutely can. We're less than human to you. We're kind of like having a token black friend. Oh, I can't be racist. I got a black friend. Oh, I like retards. I got a retarded friend. Oh, just so you know, autism is not mental retardation. Our brains are definitely not slow. Our brains are too fast. Too fast for our mouths, but that's it. The speed of our brains doesn't make us bad people. And just because our mouths don't work nearly as fast as our brains do doesn't mean we're stupid. Doesn't mean that we're simpletons. Just because somebody has a speech impediment or a lisp. A lisp doesn't mean that they're gay. Having a speech impediment doesn't mean that they're stupid or uneducated. But appearances are what's important, aren't they? Now, with me needing to turn in the police here in Tillamook, and of course, I still have to turn in the situation with Molly. Anytime Time that I see her, what's the first thing I do? I pull out my camera. If the camera's already out and she sees it, she's a lot less likely to come over to my vehicle and try to vandalize it again. Barely said it loud enough for me to hear it. He spoke to me yesterday while he was standing at the bus stop. And I wasn't going to go out of my way to be overly friendly, but I wasn't going to be rude. But I'm stressed. I don't have any way to make up these days. These days that I'm waiting on somebody. Even if we set up a time and a day. At first they leave it open ended. Oh, yeah, I will. I'll call you. But then they don't, and they don't, and they don't, and they don't. And then we set it up for a day, a specific day. And of course, then it just doesn't happen, falls through, doesn't happen. And then we set it up for a very specific time on a specific day. That way I'm not wasting the whole day waiting on them. It happens anyway, doesn't it? Now we know about the KKK following here. We also know the church that I railed against yesterday has police officers in their congregation. We also know that between 5 rows of people at Pee Wee football and 5 rows of human beings actually acknowledging that the homeless are human beings too. We'd sure like some acknowledgement of the fact that we're human beings. Now, as far as people always wanting me to smoke pot, do you have any idea how the hell I'm supposed to come up with pot money when I need gas, when I need insurance? I end up rolling my own cigarettes, so that's good. It's not too expensive doing it that way. That conserves me cash. The fact that I'm not addicted to meth or heroin or anything like that, that saves me cash. But I don't have an income anymore. That's because people wanted to keep on procrastinating or keep on beating a dead horse. Yes, I do absolutely need a place of my own. But a place of my own is different from having a place where I can at least go through the evidence so I can get it sent where it needs to go. Oh, nice. All right, now here's the cause I can actually say something about. The Red Cross. I gave blood every time that I could. I believe in the blood drives. I do believe that they save lives. And as somebody with A negative blood, well, it's not the most popular blood type. It's not the most common, but it's useful and it saves lives. Those of you with O type, I think you're the most rare, aren't you? I don't know. It's been a while since I looked into that stuff. I'm lucky I know that my blood was A negative. I guess at this point I'm just trying to fill time waiting on the phone call to show up. I'm looking. Nope. Still no notifications from him. Hurry up and wait, right? Now, this is one of them safety issues that I talk about. The fact that I'm stuck in public doing these things. That I have to, well, in some cases, break the law. Or break rules. Now, I don't know how long they consider loitering here. I know in some places it's 10 minutes. Some places it's 15 minutes. Some places they say it's whatever the acceptable dining is. Like some states say 30 minutes is an acceptable amount of time to use up a dining table. Some places it's 45 minutes. If you go to some of those Mexican restaurants, it may take you 20 to 30 minutes to even get your food. That's why you get the appetizer on your table. So in those cases, of course, yeah, sure, you're in their establishment for over an hour, but at the same time, that's because it took them a half an hour for them to make your food and a half hour to eat it. When you go to McDonald's, yeah, 15 minutes to eat one of their tiny-ass burgers ought to be about enough time. One of the newer Mini Coopers. I think it, especially being as there's so much evidence that's paper that's heavy. The only heavy or anything like that, it's just, because there's a lot of space in it. It's just that it's awkward heavy. My back is screwed up, my legs are screwed up, and sometimes I don't have the strength to remain standing, so I got to sit down. So there's that. Oh, I got to put it up, otherwise it'll die on me and I'll have to reconnect. I don't know where the bathroom is here, but I think I'm going to go try to find one because I do need to piss real bad. Of course, take my ID with me, or wallet or whatever, because urinating ourselves is not a good thing. Oh. Motoriferous. They do not have a bathroom there. The McDonald's, their lobby is closed, so no usable bathroom there. Maybe at the welding and machine shop. We could ask there. They look to be open. They got a big garage door open, and most of those places it's just an employee bathroom, but if you don't ask, you never find out. Also, there's the fact that I was spending about the last 20 minutes thinking to myself, I probably couldn't drive. I gotta pee that bad. Alright. I'm gonna turn this off while I ask and give the folks at the welding shops privacy. If they say no, I don't want to have whoever it is that said no get targeted just for saying no. I could pee my pants if I needed to.